Hey, hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Neeto Design Decision. So, in this episode, we'll be looking into one of our product called NeetoChat, which is basically a live chat software where the customers or the users would be able to get on a real time conversation with the support agent and get the solution for the issues that they are facing. So, the screen that you are seeing right now is the NeetoChat dashboard, and we have a conversation over here happening and have integrated the NeetoChat widget in this code sandbox. And the issue that we'll be discussing was basically reported by one of our client who is from Shopify, and he mentioned that like most of his customers were basically creating multiple conversation for the same issues that they were facing at the same time. So we looked into the issue, had a conversation with him to understand the root cause of the issue, why the customers were creating multiple conversation instead of like replying to the same conversation that they have created previously. And we found that like the issue was with the design or how we had designed the Neeto chat widget. Uh, so if you look into the current design of NeetoChat widget, you can see basically we have divided it into three different blocks. The first block is basically send us a message where the user would be able to start a new conversation by clicking on this. And the second block basically took the user to the existing conversation. If they have had a conversation previously, then all the conversation that they had would be listed over here. So all the conversation, even if they are closed or open, would be visible over here. And the third block basically would show the knowledge base article that the client has configured in NeetoKB. So as you can see, there wasn't a clear separation between the send us a message and messages part, even though we had separated it out because of the background separation. And since this particular block was kind of configurable, these messages or titles were configurable. The if the client changed the often the separation that we have added in the default state would be missing. So that was the primary reason why most of the users were clicking on the first block itself, and basically instead of reaching to the existing conversation that they had, they were basically creating new conversation each time they visited the NeetoChat widget. So to fix all this issue, I looked into the uh, design of the existing. So this is how we had the existing design, and this is how the like mentioned like we have had the conversation list where the closed conversation were basically separated from the open conversation by having an overlay over here. uh, so to fix this issue, this is the design that I had created, where few changes were made. Even though the basic style remained the same, we thought of like giving a clear separation between the messages and how they would be able to create a new message. So we changed the title. So instead of just calling it as messages or messages, we thought like we'll update it to recent message, and we'll show the recent message or the conversation they are having right now. So even if it's closed or open, we will be showing the latest message that either they have received or they have sent from there, and would be visible over here, so that they know like clicking on this would basically take the user to the conversation list screen. And if they click on send us a new message, they would basically be starting a fresh conversation with the agent. And here we also thought of like showing all the open conversation that they are having, because most of the chat widget, the main purpose of this is to get a solution by having a real-time conversation with the agent. And from the client's end, they want to like close the issue as soon as possible. So we thought instead of starting a new conversation, the existing conversation that the client has reported needs to be closed first. So that was one primary reason to move or switch the position between the send us a message and the recent message. So right now we are showing the recent message at the top, and a client would be or a user would be able to create a fresh conversation by clicking on this. Few other changes were also being made in the conversation list screen. So like you saw previously, this is how the conversation list screen looked like. And over here you can see, at the topmost part we were showing the meta informations like with whom you are having the conversation, and when did you receive the message or when you had sent the message to the agent. And then we were showing the message, and the only way to differentiate between the closed conversation with the open conversation is by the overlay that we were having in the UI. So to fix all these thing, I thought like the message is what the most important thing is compared to the rest of the meta information that we are having. So we switch the position, and now the message is being shown at the top, and other meta informations are right now grouped together and is basically shown at the bottom. So right now you can see uh, we have the message at the top, and the meta informations like with whom you are having the conversation, and when you receive the message or when you have sent the message would be visible. Along with that, like if a conversation is basically marked as closed, then you would also be seeing a tag called conversation close, rather than like just having an overlay separation. Right now we are clearly differentiating the conversations that are closed with the ones that are open. Now, the other thing that we were thinking is basically a user would be visiting the Neeto chat widget or the chat widget to get, or either to see the existing conversation or get on a fresh conversation with the agent. Uh, so if they are landing in this particular page where they would be able to see list of conversation, instead of reopening some random conversation and starting a conversation regarding some other issue, to start a fresh conversation, previously they had to visit to the previous screen. Like if they are in the screen, the only way the user would be able to start a conversation is going back to the screen, and then they need to click on the send us a message. To avoid all this thing and facilitate the ease of starting a fresh conversation, we thought we would be adding a new CTA button over here, which would let the user decide if they want to start a fresh conversation. Then they would be able to create a fresh conversation from the screen itself, rather than going back to the previous screen and starting a conversation from there. So these are the changes which we had done based on this issue that the client had reported. And yeah, that's all for this episode. And stay tuned. Like if you like this video, please share your thoughts on the designs as well, and we'll be back again with a new episode where we'll be discussing a new design related issue that we had faced. Yep, thanks.